First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk. You know, in a couple of days, I'm going to release a collection of videos on our motivation to be in corrections. And basically, is it worth it? The sacrifices that we go through, is it worth it? And I got some really good responses. I'm talking about from experienced people in the field, including a few who are retired that are going to tell you about enjoying the fruits of their labor. So that pension, that medical. But I'm going to do my video today aside from theirs. This way I get my opinion out, and then on Friday or Saturday when I release the other collection of videos, it's going to be released in one bundle. You guys get to enjoy their perspective. I'm going to talk a little bit about more. There is some external incentive, but I want to talk about what motivated me internally, and is it worth it for me, the sacrifices that we make. So when we come back from our sponsors, I'm going to talk about pretty much, is it worth it? What motivates me to stay in this great field? I love corrections. So guys, if you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell is going to notify you every time I post up a video. And when we come back from our sponsor, I'm going to just tell you why I do it. Is it worth the sacrifice? What motivates me? Stand by.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it. It's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Thank you guys for listening to my sponsor. You know, so this question was given to William Young. Now, William Young's been on my channel before. He's also going to be submitting his answer in that collection of videos. But the question was asked to him by an inmate. The inmate said, is it worth it? So that inmate knows what we go through. So William decided, hey, Gange, why don't we ask this to the group and have them submit a collection of videos? And I said, I think that's a great idea. It's a great question. And I'm trying to get more voices out there. So I think it's a great idea. And we're still going to be collecting videos up until March 8th. Again, you're going to upload it to YouTube unlisted and email me the link at gangianthony@yahoo.com. It's a very simple process. So if you guys get a chance, if you have a video, send it. So the question is it worth it? So I'm doing my video aside because I have a different perspective I want to try out. You know, I want to try something more internal. Because when someone asked me, is it worth it, or what motivates you to stay in this profession, the first thing I thought about was the sacrifices that I felt I made. So the sacrifices are the negative. So do I have enough of a positive to balance that? And guys, the reason why I'm doing this video is to show the positive amongst the negative. It's a lot easier to make a video and tell you, hey, it's not worth it. Screw this career. I'm done. But then there's no sense of even doing a video like that. That's the easy answer. Anybody could say that. You could say that with anything in life. The key is that I'm looking for the positive motivation to keep us in. Maybe something that we forgot. You know, maybe right now you're going through that question like, is it really worth it? So maybe having this dialogue right now could remind you of something that you once felt. Because it's very hard to find the positive in a working environment like corrections. But there's a lot. But first, let's go through the negative. Now, I have 3 things I'm going to hit up. Now, guys, by all means, comment if you can add more in regards to the sacrifice that you have made. But when someone asked me, is it worth it? The first thing I thought about was family. Because I remember at the beginning of my career, I gave up a lot of my family time. I was a fool though, man. I wanted the 4 days off. So I did recips in which I would have Tuesday and Friday off. So I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That sounds great, only working 4 days. But I used to work 2 doubles over the weekends. And over the weekends was a bulk of the events and the birthdays and the holidays. And I missed out on a lot of that at the beginning of my career. I didn't realize how important that was, but it's important. Also, I became a little inconsistent too because we also work in a job where Your schedule could be very unpredictable. You expect to do 8 or 12 and you can wind up doing 12 or 16, being forced into work. So your family starts seeing you as inconsistent, and you can't even just come up with a consistent schedule to plan anything. So there's definitely a sacrifice there. And that's a huge sacrifice. To me, that was the biggest. There's also the stress of the job. You work in corrections. It's a lot of tension. A lot of tension. A lot of stress. I mean, we got to make decisions in the fly, and people are going to judge our decisions. You know, stress is going to come from the inmate population. It's going to come from management. It's going to come from all walks of life in that correctional facility. And that impacts your health in a very negative way. So you got the stress of the environment. Added to that, the dangers. You know, I can't even imagine having, like, let's say, been majorly assaulted and asking yourself at that moment, after you've been assaulted, like, was this worth it? And if you're lucky to be cleared back to work after you've been majorly assaulted, right before you go back to work, asking, is it worth it? Because I can get assaulted again. And then what your family's probably thinking, like, you promised your life to us and you're going back to work after what just happened. Now it starts to impact your family. That's another part of the stress, the balance between family and work. So I think about all these negatives right now. I mean, just the 3 I mentioned. I'm sure you guys are going to have more. Think about that. Because now I got to find a way to balance that with the positive. To find the motivation in the dirt and the sand. And I think I have, because obviously I've been in the field for 16 years. And I'm going to go my last 9, God willing. Last 8. I got 25, so I'm finishing up 16. And I want that pension, but that can't be my only reason for wanting to stay in this profession. It has to go beyond the external. It's not about the money. It's not about the pension or the whatever's at the other end of the rainbow. It's got to be something that comes from within. So the first thing I thought about was family. And I would like to think, for the most part, I developed a good family behind the wall. Nothing's 100%. We all have our own experiences with the people we work with. But this is my story. And I've developed a very close-knit group of people that I trust. And I love that feeling. I think I've been close to only one person my entire life, you know, outside of my immediate family. So this provides me with a sense of comfort, a bond. And I like that. I really do. I like that closeness. And I think that's what's unique about working in a prison or a jail, because you work in the confines of a highly, an atmosphere that's highly, got a lot of tension, as I said, a lot of conflict. And I think that kind of brings people together to some extent, especially if you work in an environment in which it kind of got that feeling that us versus them. So it could kind of reinforce the group mentality. So we're close. You know, we try to be close. And also, by the way, that's part of the reason why I do Tear Talk. You know, because of that love for the family. I care for this family. So I want to make sure that they get the recognition that they deserve. And if there's changes that are happening, at least we can kind of have somewhat of an influence by creating a venue. And again, that's why I welcome people to come on my channel too, you know, to give them that voice. But again, one thing is the bond, the family bond. And that's pretty powerful. I think that's pretty powerful. The other thing is I want to complete something. I started this in 2002, and I told myself in the academy, I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off. So one of my motivations is, no matter what happens, I'm going the distance. I'm going to take this to 25 years. I'm not going to do a day more, hopefully. But I'm going till the wheels fall off. So there is a sense of completion for me. I started it. I want to finish it. I don't know where my career is going to take me. I mean, right now I'm on the administrative level, but I was a sergeant. I was an officer. So I'm doing pretty good. Again, when I get bored, I've always found the opportunity to move up. I don't know if that's easy for everyone, but for me, it is on hard work and effort. I studied for each position I had to move up for. You know, whether it's a test or an interview. But I prepared myself for it. So again, it's going to be that sense of completion. I want that. I want to say I completed something. To some, that may be superficial, but to me, it's not. I want to complete this. I think it's great when you start to tell people about the profession and they try to challenge you. You're sitting there with 25 years experience. Just sitting there, and you've retired from it, survived the profession. I just think it's something that, to me, it means a lot. I can't explain that so much. I have to complete this. Maybe it's the OCD in me. I don't know. But this was a career for me, and I want to see it all the way through. And again, I just want to say I completed it. How simple is that? I also love the service that we provide. Public don't realize it, unfortunately, and that's, again, another mission for Tier Talk, right? To let people know the service we provide. So that's very important to me, and that comes with the recognition. And again, that comes with Tier Talk too, bringing that recognition to the table. But if the public only knew what we do, how we protect them, how we protect ourselves, how we protect the inmates, what we're willing to risk our lives for, what we run to every day, what we respond to. And they don't know that. And that's sad. But I feel that if they did, because again, I'm from the inside, so I know what we do. And anybody that wants to contest that, come on, let's contest it. Because I live and breathe it. And if not at work, I live and breathe it doing the show, and I hear other people's stories. If you want to contest at any time the service we provide, bring it on. Because you have no idea. The fact that anybody's willing to question who we are or call us glorified babysitters or whatever it is they want to say, they have no idea what we do, what we put up with. And that's a motivator for me. I like giving back to the public, if you will. So this will be kind of like my good deed. And I think it's something that, as long as I let my children know what I do, because I don't hide my profession, my family knows what I do, I think they'll be proud of me. I think my children will be proud because their father made a sacrifice, did something for the public. And when they get older, they understand it, at least a little bit. But to also see that I completed something, and that's another motivator. As I said, just having your family feel proud of you. At one point, it's about you, but then at another point, when you start having kids, you want your kids to be able to look up to you. And I think this profession is such an honorable profession that my kids will look up to me. But I'll give them an understanding of this profession. And not only will they look up to me, they'll look up to anybody who works in corrections. My children will be one of the few that are in the know. And they'll be able to recognize those heroes in the shadows, and they'll go up to those heroes in the shadows and they'll say thank you. I may not know what you did firsthand, but my father worked in corrections. And my father was a good man. That's what motivates me. A little personal. But I would love to hear what motivates you, whether it's through the comments or you could send a video. But that was a good question, Will. It was a very good question, because you never know if that question just may have hit me in the right timing. But it's good for us sometimes to reevaluate why we do what we do, because sometimes we forget. So it's good for us to go back and look. And sometimes that will motivate us for just a few more years. As always, guys, this show is Tier Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. Stay safe.